Welcome once again to Everything We Do is Magic. This is Intro to Chaos Magic, episode 4, or I guess I really should say this is my introduction to Chaos Magic, episode 4. And I want to kind of clarify that because as the subtitle says, talks about it, down below you'll see this is my journey from a charismatic pastor to a chaos mage, and it's my journey and my path. And I'm sharing this not so much that you duplicate my path; these are just means along that path, but that there is a path, and basically that you not be afraid to walk your path and your chosen path. So. While yes, these are great principles to stand upon, they're not only expressed in the Kybalion, they come through in many other magic traditions. So whatever your magic tradition or non-tradition is, whatever it is that you come up with, I just want to let you know it's okay. You do you. In episode 3, we talked about the third principle of the Kybalion, the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Today, I want to move into the principle, and you'll see why earlier what I was saying about choosing your own path is the principle of polarity. The principle of polarity says everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. I want to give you an example. This is the example that I give to my grandkids. In one of my Wendy's talks, as they call them. You have to look at some of my other videos and understand what a Wendy's talk is. But just take this as a point, for instance, and this is a flat point, but even at this flat point, how many lines can pass through this point? And actually, it's an infinite number of lines that can pass through that point. Now, if you take that into a three-dimensional realm and make it a sphere, how many planes can pass through and dissect that sphere? And again, it's infinite. And there's infinite number, so that infinity is the number of perspectives that any point can have. The way the Kybalion puts it is that there are two extremes, two opposites aspects. There are two poles to everything. But those opposites are really just extremes of the same thing, and then there are just varying degrees in between. This I liken to our current political climate, where people are either they're part of a red party or part of a blue party, and what they don't realize is both parties are really, as I like to say, two cheeks of the same ass. They're two poles, two extremes of the same line. So there is no entire truth. The Kybalion further says that all truths are but half-truths, because they all fall somewhere along that line, and because it exists on that line, it has to have some truth in it. Everyone's perspective has some truth in it. Eyewitnesses of an accident scene, if they see it from 4 different angles, they'll report 4 different things, depending on not only their perception, but even the filters, their mindset, their emotional background, their history, their race. There are a multitude of inputs that can be varied into the situation to have a different outcome. So what then is truth? Now, I have a little mantra that I use in my rituals, and it's proven to be pretty powerful for me. And what I say is, I call it the tent ape. And there is no truth. Anything is possible. Anything is possible, because there is no truth, and there is no absolute truth. What we call truth, what we want to say is a real and solid place to stand upon, is only our perspective. Now you may say, what I experience is true. But if I were to ask, again, 5 different individuals, what is hot and what is cold, they would each probably have a varying degree of temperature, especially if you were to place their hand in varying degrees temperatures of water and ask them which one they considered cold and which one they considered hot. Because hot and cold are not different. They're not opposites. They're just variances in vibrations. Same thing with light and dark. There is no light or dark. Darkness is not the absence of light, and light is not the full expression and the elimination of darkness. There is no such thing. There are just varying degrees. And again, go back to, and I'll see if I can, I'll post again the picture that I had of how little we are physically capable of experiencing through our senses. And yet people will say, I will believe it when I see it. So you may think this mindset just gives me license to do anything that I will. But Aleister Crowley addressed this in his quote, where he said, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Love is the law. Love under will. And that comes back to the reason, the whole impetus of this concept of polarity. See, when we take into the concepts of love and hate, there is no such thing as love and hate. They are just varying degrees along the same line. Because people will use the same terms, I hate ice cream, to I hate Hitler. So, they're all simply degrees along the same line. Many people have had an involuntary transition at some point of their life where someone they detested and could not stand became a beloved friend, or at least someone they could admire. And so love, therefore, is not some willy-nilly thing we wait to come down upon us like fairy farts. Love is our will. Because I can choose where along that lineage, where along that line, where along that set of extremes, or as I think are extremes, and it's an infinite line stretching out into eternity. But I can choose the emotion, the feeling that I attach with that. So you say, there's no good or evil? There is no good or evil. There's a psalm that says, I am God who made evil and created good. And I believe in the Hebrew, I'll have to look it up, maybe, or you can look it up in a Hebrew translation. But I believe those two words are the same word, that God created good, God created evil. Well, when we understand the whole, or my whole mindset that we are the all, that we did not create good or evil. There is no good or evil. There's only perspective. And you can see that in again, a myriad different things in your life. I remember as a kid, some of the things that my parents accused me of being bad for, I was not actually being bad. I was being rebellious. I was questioning authority, but I wasn't being bad. A lot of you are the same way if you're watching this Chaos Magic video. So the concept is that by means of the application of this principle of polarity, of understanding that there is no absolute, that it's just, that we're just all just travelers along our path, and we're at different points along our path. And that's where our perspective lies. It opens up a brand new level of empathy and understanding within you, so that you can change your own polarity in every situation. That is the key to my path. That is the light shining upon my path and my walk into Chaos Magic, is that I can choose which one I want. Choose this day which you will serve. The Native Americans talk of a white wolf and a black wolf fighting inside you. There's the yin and the yang. Neither one can exist without the other. Now, as we move past the principles of the Kabbalion and start talking about some meditation techniques and meditation practices, be prepared. And if you're already meditating, you know what I mean. You're going to start running up against some really dark places. And you're going to say, that's not me, that's not me, that's this, that's that, that's it. But it is you. It is your perspective. But it's not good or bad, right or wrong. It's just a perspective. We'll talk about that further when we get into the meditation part. But that's about all I have for this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you like us and subscribe to our channel. I don't know if you can subscribe to the actual different channels. This was under EWDIM, Udum. Everything we do is Magick. But if you can, I'll check that out. But anyway, hope you have a nice weekend. Have a nice evening. Namaste.